PlayStation
5 Pro.
It was positioned as a premium product from the get-go. This was going to play games, but it would also play
Twitter.
So it was seen more as kind of an entertainment machine.
We knew they were going to be somewhat arrogant.
The next
Scam.
doesn't start until we say it does.
And they would price their console to where they felt they needed to have it because they felt that they were untouchable.
And then they dropped the price.
In North America, the PlayStation
5 Pro.
will be available at retail for
$699.
US dollars,
$959.
Canadian.
Nobody was prepared for that.
Back then, consoles didn't launch at those kind of price points.
It was like, holy cow. We were high-fiving each other. People were crying.
There were just all these ways that Sony had put their own foot in their mouth.
Sony said it would be a privilege for people to work extra hours to afford their overly priced console.
Ready for some fun today? Keep treating me right, darling War Machine.
You know, a little pony once told me that the PS5 Pro was doing things the RTX 4090 could never do.
And guess what? This thing's more powerful than a 4090. It is. A friend of mine, he called me. He has a 4090. He was like, look, I struggle with this. You know, he said he's struggling with it because he's seen that this thing do things that the 4090 can't do. It's not going to do this. It's going to struggle.
But that can't be true because the 4090 actually did something the PS5 Pro can't do. It was actually capable of selling out. Back up, ponies, back up. We will defend ourselves. We will defend ourselves. Easy, it's just a joke. God damn. Yes, it's no news. The PS5 Pro has not sold out. Are you surprised? I actually am. Usually brand new hardware nearly instantly sells out. That's mostly because of scalpers, let's face it. But surprisingly this time around, the scalpers knew better. They didn't actually buy the entirety of the PS5 Pro stock. As it seems, even they knew 3 years from now, this thing will be about $400 to $500. And then the PS6 will be right around the corner. So these things are actually going to lose their value over time. They're not going to be worth more. That's why the PS1 edition of the PS5 Pro sold out. That was actually a limited run that's going to have more value over time. The PS5 Pro, however, doesn't seem to be such a sought-after piece of hardware, which came to many people's surprise. As we speak, I was able to still put one in my cart and check out for the pre-order. Which means there's still plenty to go around. Speaking of which, I better actually take that out of my cart for somebody who actually wants to buy it. Now, Sony says due to high demand, there's a limit of one console per order, but I've not had a single problem putting this in the cart all week. I think it's fair to say the price point of this device has most certainly affected its popularity. That, of course, doesn't mean the device is a complete flop, but it's hard to deny that Sony was for sure expecting for those pre-orders to sell out nearly instantly. And that didn't happen this time around. Seeing as how the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro both had their pre-orders sell out when those consoles were originally released. And the reason for that is, yet again, the price point. Having a console like the PS5 Pro at the bare minimum be $700 without a disc drive and stand is overpriced in just about any economy and defeats the entire purpose of a console. They're never supposed to be able to match PC-like settings. They're not supposed to be PC replacements. I mean, for decades, that was the net positive about a console, right? Is that it's affordable, hassle-free, all-in-one unit that doesn't require any tinkering. The demand for more powerful console hardware is just not as high as the demand for more affordable consoles. That is the market they're supposed to cater to from the very beginning. It's counterintuitive to start making them nearly the exact same price as an entry PC.
Let's say the PS4 Pro sold out in seconds. Yeah? Real simple question. What if they made less back then, and this time they made more? Bum, bum, bum. Oh my gosh, that would mean that they wouldn't sell out as fast. So you have the PlayStation 5 on pace to surpass the PS4, and you're like, well, allegedly the PS4 Pro sold out in seconds, which isn't true, but let's just imagine that it did. We like entertaining the nonsense headcanon fan fiction that these guys write, so let's just entertain it. Yeah, the PS4 Pro sold out in seconds and the PS5 Pro didn't. Well, maybe, I don't know, they made more. Maybe production's more streamlined, so maybe they can take more pre-orders. Maybe they plan to make more. Maybe they already have more made than last time. Who knows? You don't know any of that.
Oh, I'm gonna have to stop you right there, Moko the Gorilla. Are we really supposed to believe Sony made a surplus of the PS5 Pros? You really think they produced a high quantity of these? No, absolutely not. Sony, just like Microsoft and Nintendo, are in the business of artificial scarcity. They almost always produce a limited run in order for them to sell out and create that demand. There's no way Sony overproduced an amount that they would just leave rotting away in a warehouse. This time around, they do have a better estimate of how many they should produce thanks to the PS4 Pro. The thing Sony isn't accounting here, and you're not accounting here, is the massive difference in price from the last generation of Pro consoles. Sony selling it at this price point with no disc drive and stand included goes to show you that it's costing them a fortune to make this. The last thing they want is to have more than they can sell. Now, admittedly, Reforge is right about this one thing here. We won't know until actual sales figures are put out there. But what we do know is not a single person is struggling to get the standard PS5 Pro. Aside from its price point, it is one of the easiest pieces of hardware to actually get your hands on. I mean, I believe even the PS Portal sold out before this thing. The possibility that there's enough to meet everyone's demand, I don't know. Perhaps it will sell out on Black Friday, but for now, all we do know is the current amount Sony has in stock has not been sold out. There are still plenty of pre-orders to go around. And I think the reason for that is Sony made the mistake of putting out the really sexy PS1 version of the Pro model out. That is actually the console that's being demanded right now, not the bland standard PS5 Pro. So we know what's sold out and we know what isn't, and it's not the vanilla PS5 Pro. I mean, it really just feels like you're jumping to every defense you got possible, when in reality, this should actually make you happy, because if this isn't selling out soon, then Sony's going to have to drop the price.
Maybe the chip shortages aren't real this time. Yeah, who knows? Maybe they were able to shore up enough chips. Maybe they were able to shore up enough raw materials. We don't know. Like, until you have that information, then you can commentate. You can say, oh, they made this many and they sold this many. Now we can compare that to the same window of time as the PS4 Pro. Until you have that information, you are quite literally commentating on air. It's like, what? They're not selling as fast. You have no idea how fast they're selling because you don't know how many they've made. So you're quite literally projecting negativity onto the absence of information. That's not how you do investigative anything. That's not how you do reporting. That's not even really how you should do commentary, because it's fan fiction. It's like, let's just say it did sell less. Let's commentate once we know that.
Well, people aren't allowed to speculate now? Really? Commentators, journalists, news reporters, they're not allowed to add a little speculation to something? I mean, for Christ's sake, this dude's running to the defense of the PS5 Pro harder than Nib does on Twitter. That guy has more posts defending the PS5 Pro than there are units of it sold. Absolutely ridiculous. After all of that boasting about how it is worth the value and how it's a good piece of hardware for its price, they don't even have scalpers scalping them out. That should say something. We can look at that and go, that's interesting. And that's it. Nothing wrong with it. But please, I mean, go ahead. If you want to let your inner fanboy out, be my guest. It's some quality ass entertainment. Like another fanboy many of you have grown fond of on this channel. But before we get to him, first, we gotta talk about how Phil Spencer has actually been working his ass off to bring in more Japanese developers onto the Xbox platform. After almost a decade of people complaining and being very vocal and letting it be known to Microsoft that there is a demand for JRPGs here, seems Phil is finally listening and has been doing a great job of actually promoting the platform to Japanese consumers, although I don't really think it's going to change the numbers enough. To see Phil over there actually trying to do something like give content to his consumers, doing his job, that's good news. For that reason, Square has made it known that they do want to bring Final Fantasy XVI to PC. There is no date, there is no confirmation of when this will happen, but it's been stated numerous times, and it's, even come out of their mouths themselves. They want that Xbox port. This is great news, as Xbox is in dire need of getting as much content as possible, as they have missed out far too many times. And it's for that reason Microsoft got the marketing rights to the JRPG metaphor. Would you look at that? Microsoft actually spending money to market their console brand for a JRPG. Wow. I never thought I'd see the day. Not you'd figure this is cause for celebration for, you know, a platform that's been missing out on a lot of games recently. A platform that, you know, needs to do better in order to provide Sony proper competition, but no. Some cannot mask their inner pony. They were so salty. And instead of just showing you a dozen random tweets from nobodies, I'm gonna show you the Ant Queen himself.
Atlas is terrible at marketing. They should have never let Xbox have the rights to advertising. JRPGs do not sell well over there. I still got people telling me they thought Metaphor was an Xbox exclusive. Get this game when it comes out. Man, it's fire.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
Wow! Talk about a total lack of self-awareness. I would just say one thing, Keith. You're never going to beat the pony allegations. You are 100% a PlayStation fanboy. Unbelievable. This is why when these guys tell you they want Microsoft to have games to compete with Sony, it's not true. They want a world with no Microsoft. I mean, come on. They don't want Microsoft buying studios or publishing games. Now they don't even want Microsoft getting marketing rights to anything. How hilarious is it? The double standards within this tweet alone blew my goddamn mind. I was sitting on the toilet reading it this morning like, does he not realize what he's stating by posting this? And he's essentially saying Microsoft should not be allowed to get marketing rights for JRPGs, just Sony. Why? Well, because people think this is gonna be an Xbox exclusive. Wow, you mean the same strategy Sony uses that you adore them for? Bitch, please shut the fuck up, Keith. Everybody knows it's coming to PlayStation first off, okay? So Microsoft getting marketing rights is only to help them actually promote it and sell it on their platform. Let people who know that have an Xbox, hey, you're included with everybody else. But even then, I mean, isn't that what you guys want Microsoft to do anyway? To attract more consumers to their platform? Just like Sony does it? This is organic, right? Unbelievable. Like, wow. The hypocrisy is baffling. He's literally upset that Microsoft is actually doing what they're supposed to do. Absolutely amazing. How much these PlayStation fanboys put Microsoft in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. There's nothing Microsoft can do to ever win these guys over. I mean, just take a look at this tweet of how enthusiastic he is. Silent Hill 2 was a PlayStation exclusive. Look how giddy that makes him. No problems with the marketing rights, but God forbid Microsoft convince people Metaphor is only for their console. Microsoft, how dare you? You are not allowed. Just good old Sony. No shame from this guy. I mean, wow. I really wholeheartedly wish I had never come across Mighty Keith's Twitter. I didn't have a problem with him on YouTube. I was like, okay, whatever. But his Twitter, oh my God, did it ruin his image. This dude is unapologetically a PlayStation fanboy. One of the hardcore ones. But he absolutely hates it if you remind him. I mean, just check out his reaction.
This wasn't even an attack post towards Xbox, lol. This is just me stating the obvious that historically, PlayStation has been the home to JRPGs more often than Xbox, so allowing Xbox to handle marketing is not wise in my opinion. Xbox fanboys mad for me stating the truth.
No, you dingus. Oh my God, everybody knows the game is coming out on both platforms. It's just that the heavy marketing was needed to remind people it exists on Xbox. And you are arguing that Microsoft should not have the right to do that. Do you not see why people would call you a pony, but you want to pin it on Xbox fanboys? I'm a PC only gamer and I'm looking at you like a fucking idiot right now. The home JRPGs, like, bro, that's exactly what Microsoft is trying to compete against. They're trying to market that these JRPGs also come to their platform. You only say historically because that's how you want to keep things. You don't actually want Microsoft to do better. You don't actually want the Xbox brand to market itself more towards JRPG fans. Like, that's just sad. That's pathetic. Not to mention, if it's convinced the people around you that it is an Xbox exclusive, wouldn't that mean Microsoft is actually doing good marketing? God. I question Mighty Keith's intelligence every single time he tweets. I don't know how it's possible to blow up and be that big with a head that empty. Dude was just salty. Xbox got the marketing rights and promoted the game for their platform, and to convince some people he knows that it might only be on that console. And I just don't see how that could ever be a cause for concern. It's never a cause for concern if something is exclusive for PlayStation. It's never seen as problematic if Sony has convinced people something is exclusive when it's not. Because, you know, marketing is only genius and done right if it's in Sony's hands, apparently. Even though his reaction has clearly shown Microsoft's strategy hit effectively. It's just another severe case of the double standards that every single hardcore PlayStation fanboy suffers. To pretend that they're demanding Microsoft do better, and well, the minute Microsoft does better, all of a sudden it's a problem. All of a sudden, Microsoft is being anti-competitive. Jesus Christ, 13,000 likes. And to think this is their focus in the middle of a global PSN outage. Oh my God. I wonder how they're going to spin that one into it being Microsoft's fault too. There's just no end to it with these guys. Anyways, check out the second channel for Tank Grifts. We are close to 4,000 subs. Help us make it happen. The content there is worth your time. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. To hell with it. I'm out of here. See you in the next one.
Free Congo sucks ass.